Hello, Puppet.
Hello, that'll help. Good evening, good evening. Would help if I use the right microphone, right? I was just saying, thanks for being here. And that my back is killing me. My son just will not be put down at the moment. So I'm hoping my back is going to be okay for the stream, but like, it feels okay right now. I guess we'll see how leaning over doing hobbying is going to feel, because yeah, my back is literally killing me. Cool. And turn this music down a tad more. Good evening, Highland. Good evening, Toasty. Congratulations on the win against Death Guard. Do you know what? I usually beat Death Guard. Good evening, Terminator Painter, says Daniel. This might be the last night painting Terminators, Daniel. I've got something else on the table here as well, just in case I finish these guys. It might happen. It probably won't happen, to be honest, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I did take out some other models from the army we played on Monday, just in case I did finish them. Like I said, it probably won't happen, but I have some other models looked out, just in case. So let me know in the chat if you are doing on hobby. Honestly, Tony, I did not realize I've been preoccupied with kids up until about 5 minutes ago. Normally, I guess they don't go to sleep so early, so I just came on here to do some painting as soon as they went to sleep. But yeah, I've just got some final details on these Terminators that I want to pick out tonight and see, and maybe see how we get on. There isn't too much left to do. Maybe some washing and bits and bobs. Good crowd tonight on the grots. Thank you guys for so much. I'm actually going to plug the grots in my video tomorrow. If you guys aren't subscribed on the grots, it would be appreciated. I'm sure a bunch of you are, but we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers over in the grots. That would mean so much to us. Let me know in the chat if you are going to be doing any painting tonight, or is Thursday night not a good night for your hobby. I like our Thursday night streams. They're usually pretty chilled. Yeah, every second Thursday Grot video comes out. If you want to get notifications, that you know that you can click the little bell on YouTube, like next to the subscription, and if you change notifications from personal to all, then you'll get like a push notification to your phone every time we release a new video. So I mean, that's one way for sure to not miss any of the new content, right? Sure, looking at these Terminators, I don't think I'm going to finish them tonight. Robert's definitely getting the Horus Heresy box and painting up Blood Angels. You know, I looked at the Horus Heresy box and I think it's cool, but I already got like 2 Contemptors. I already got like 30 Terminators. The plastic Spartan is nice, I guess, but it's just I think the price is just a stepping stone too far for me because I already have a bunch of the stuff, right? James has a bunch of stuff piling up to paint. None of it's primed. I tend to prime miles in advance. I get so many models primed and base coated. I guess it's just how everybody works a little bit differently. I find the priming very easy, and then the actual getting all the paints down is the time-consuming part for me, I guess. Alright, I'm probably gonna... kind of wondering what my best plan of attack here is, because I want to get these guys pretty close to being finished tonight. I need Carber Crimson, which I just realised I don't have in front of me. 1 second. I lied. It's not Carber Crimson I need, it's Reichland Flesh Shade. I always put Flesh Shade over my gold. I mean, you can do Carber Crimson too if you want. Sup, Jimmy? Good evening. Yeah, I think with the washes that I still want to do on these models, I probably won't finish them tonight. But maybe on Saturday night stream I'll finish them. I don't think there's any way it's going to be £125. I don't know where the 240 rumour has come from, but I don't think it'll be 125 because, I mean, 4 tactical squads is probably, you know, like you wouldn't, I don't even think you get 4 tactical squads in a box for 125. Then there's a Dreadnought, then there's a Spartan, then there's a couple of characters, and then there's like, is it 5 or 10 Terminators in the box? I put a poll up though, who's interested in an Imperial Knight after today's leak? So basically you can, 10 Cataphractory Terminators, you can now, or as soon as the Knight Codex comes out, which I guess means I'll be buying the Knight Codex, I wasn't planning to until I saw that today, you can now take 1 Imperial Knight in your Blood Angels army and you're able to give it the Agent of the Imperium keyword, so you don't lose any Super Doctrine or anything like that. You can just include the Knight and just run him. Be interesting to see if you lose any of the Knight special abilities. I guess jury's out on that one yet. But if you felt like a Knight would bring some nice fire support to your Blood Angel army, then that's going to be totally valid now. And yeah, we'll still keep Savage Echoes. Well, we'll just keep all our Blood Angel specific rules still. I was wondering as well, I mean, that might benefit Blood Angels, but it will benefit any other Space Marine chapter as well, right? So it's an interesting one. That's enough to keep me painting. I mean, I've still got a giant backlog, James. I reckon I must have like 5,000, maybe even 7,000 points of stuff that's like built and primed. And I must admit that I actually, I don't know if you guys are into Star Wars at all, but Star Wars Legion have like an insane deal going on for the May the 4th thing coming up. So I picked up another army for Star Wars Legion. So I mean, I already got 2 armies for Star Wars Legion. Well, apparently I have all of them now because I got the core box for the Republic versus the Clones. The knight will still cost a CP unless they change the detachment rules. Super Heavy Ox detachment costs CP unless you share a faction keyword that isn't Imperium Chaos Eldari. Yeah, okay. So, I forget, how many... I guess it'll cost 3 CP to include a knight? Because I think it costs 3 CP for a Super Heavy Ox, but you get 2 of them back, right? If you share the keyword. So, I mean, it's not horrible, though. Including a knight, I mean, if you wanted to include a knight, is just basically a bullet magnet. And I think, aren't knights getting -1 damage as well? So you've got like a toughness 8, 5 up, invulnerable save, -1 damage, can have some really nasty guns. Just as a complete bullet magnet to let your the rest of your Blood Angels like roam around the battlefield a bit more freely. I mean, it might not be bad. I wonder if all the options are in the Terminator box for Horus Heresy. It sounds like the new box, the plastic kit, has multiple weapon options for the Dreadnought anyway. So yeah, it's probably going to have a lot. I would imagine there's going to probably be a lot of weapon options. Which I guess will be nice, because before, when you were buying the weapon, like if that's true, that'll be really nice, because before it was kind of daylight robbery, having to pay £13 for an arm. And if you want 2 or 3 weapon options, it could very quickly become £50 on weapon options. It's a lot of money. You know, it's almost the price of the Dreadnought again, just to make sure you've got the right arms. Good night, Tony. Thanks for hanging out. I suppose the box does have a Warhound-like helmet. I really don't know all that much about knights, to be honest. I mean, beyond fighting them, my experience... Well, I've never run a knight army. I always did fancy like building and making one, but like now I guess I actually want to know like what do people think is going to be the most competitive knight, and it might be a case like I'm actually thinking like it might just be a case of going for the cheapest knight, right? Like not in terms of money, because I think they're all pretty similar. Cheapest knight in terms of like points cost, because like the main reason I think to include a knight is Blood Angels would literally be as a bullet magnet, you know, like a 24 wound toughness 8 bullet magnet that has -1 damage and an invulnerable save, right? Like we know it's going to die probably because the enemy's going to put a ton of firepower into it, but all that firepower going into it leaves the rest of the board free for all of our like jump units to do their thing. Then maybe that's points well spent. So like, you know, some people were saying like, oh, they like the Castellan Knight. Well, I mean, the Castellan's like 600 and some points. So there could be an argument to take it, sure. But like for me, like when I was thinking about it a couple of times today, I guess, since they mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, I think the thing that's going to make most sense to me is to take the cheapest one. Because I mean, if they all have the same toughness 8 and 24 wounds and -1 damage, then like I said, you don't necessarily need the knight to do anything except absorb a ton of enemy firepower, right? Whatever's the cheapest gun platform. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's probably not much point taking a melee knight either, considering everything else we're running is going to be melee, right? So, I mean, you could take a melee knight and just walk it right up the middle of the board and be like, you need to shoot me, enemy, or this melee knight will get in combat and wreck you, right? I mean, you could do that. Toasty's never played against a knight. Well, I mean, typically against a knight army, it's just like 3 or 4 models that you end up fighting against, and it's just each model can do like a ton of work, has a lot of damage, but typically they don't have invulnerable saves in melee, they just have invulnerable saves in shooting, and up till now they've not had any -1 damage. It's just been toughness 8, so I think they typically have a 2-up save. So I mean, if you're hitting them with like Sanguinary Guard axes and swords, typically they're only saving on like 5s and 6s. We're wounding on them on 4s, and you only need 12 Sanguinary Guard to make their way through their armor to kill them. But I think they are getting something to increase their survivability. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure they're getting something that's going to make them more survivable. I'm interested to see what the Preceptor does. So what makes you hot on the Preceptor, Rizio? I mean, the one that I used to like the look of was the Crusader, because it had like this really nice like rapid fire battle cannon. I guess the rapid fire battle cannon now, and it's a tough one, because I guess the rapid fire battle cannon now is going to be weaker against Marines and the like. But I guess the question is, you know, how often do you fight against Marines? It's not like every battle and stuff like that. So maybe it still has legitimacy, or still valuable. It's quite hard making lists, or it's quite hard knowing what to pick now with Armor of Contempt. Like when I played into Death Guard this week, I didn't tailor my list at all. I just played what I thought was going to be strong, and you know, it worked pretty well. But at the same time, like, I did think like, I don't know exactly how you're supposed to. I don't know how you're supposed to think, like, when your list is strong, you know, like, it's like, alright, so Sanguinary Guard are strong against this, and this with the axes, but then they're really weak against Armor of Contempt with the axes. So it's like, I think it's actually kind of makes it hard to theory craft some of this stuff, since Armor of Contempt came out. A melee knight may be a better bullet sponge. Nobody wants that thing getting into them. Might be possible to ignore the shooting knight and focus on the smaller stuff and win the objectives. I mean, sure. The Warhound with a plasma blast gun costs £500. Yeah, no, if I was buying a knight, I'd be spending $100 on it. Anything more than that is crazy money, I guess. But I think it is a cool project. Like, it's a cool model, and it would make a cool project to have, right? And I've never done anything that big. I think I would probably like magnetize the legs, so it was like, you know, if you're going to travel through tournaments, you could split it in half. Because I honestly don't know if it would go in my travel case unless I did something like that and split it in half. So I'd probably look at like trying to maybe magnetize the legs, I think, or like, I assume it's a bit like a dreadnought. You know, the upper half of the body could detach from the bottom half. Dino Shepherd says, thank you for your great Blood Angels video. Oh, it's going to read it.
Via Super Chat. Thanks for your great BA vids. I'll be moving to Deathwatch as a financial choice cause I can get spare Marines into most lists. The rules are neat too.
Well, Deathwatch are cool. You'll be moving to Deathwatch as in what? You're moving away from Blood Angels? Thank you so much for the $5. When Deathwatch got their new codex, like way back whenever that was, probably like close to a year ago at this point, they were pretty cool for a little while. They had some good tournament runs with like the double Redemptor tactic, but I mean, obviously I've not seen too much since the Armor of Contempt rule came out, but are Deathwatch competitive now? Like, Are they in a better shape than Blood Angels? I think Blood Angels are in a pretty good spot now with the Armor of Contempt rules, honestly. I'm feeling pretty happy. I mean, I absolutely mulched the Tau 2 weeks ago, and I beat Death Guard pretty convincingly this week, I felt like. Deathwatch are expensive, says Jimmy. You could run a squad of 3 Armigers. Deathwatch just got strong. Did they get strong? What makes Deathwatch strong now? Just Armor of Contempt, basically, or... I guess nothing else has really changed, right? Deathwatch are hard to play well. I mean, I guess they've got a few extra nooks and crannies that you need to know about, but I mean, I kind of argue that Blood Angels can also be hard to play well. All Knights are secretly scary and melee stompy. Yeah, I mean, they all get 12 attacks with their Titanic feet, which hit at strength 8. So I mean, it's not like they're chumps in melee, is it? Their Army of Renowned is the hotness. Okay, well, I mean, I don't have anyone in my meta that plays Deathwatch, so I can't really comment on that. There was a couple of Deathwatch lists at the last GT I was at, but I didn't run into any of them. I would like to play them at some point. But yeah, I think I'm going to play up against... So Andrew actually played Colin last night on the Plastic Crackheads, and he lost against that Death... he lost against the Death Guard last night with the Tau. So, I mean, I beat the Death Guard, so I mean, hopefully that means I can beat the Tau. I think Tau... It must, like... As much as we like to complain about the Blood Angels Codex, at least our Codex did come out for like 2 minutes and then get nerfed. You know, like Tau's Codex was out for like a month. I think I played Andrew like twice with Monka, and the first time we played, he didn't even know his rules. So like their Codex was out for like a month, and they just lose like their indirect fire. They lose their -1 on the nearest enemies in Monka. That must really suck. That's, I mean, like, yeah, it does suck, but it also kind of sucks for like, well, just anyone that plays Tau that bought some new models. They're excited to play their new models. If you're a player like me and it takes you a month or something to get stuff painted, you basically have bought the new Codex, thought, oh cool, this is what I need. You'd have bought your new models, and in my case, probably before I even get to play with them, they're nerfed. Like, I really dislike the approach to balance this edition, and how balance has just been like, I guess it's not an afterthought, but it's also not done as well as I hope it would be done. Has anyone seen the video from Auspic Tactics on Mortal Wounds output? I haven't, but I'm guessing if you're mentioning it, it means that Nids can do a shitload of mortals. Do I need to be including Soul Warden on one of my characters, do I? Steven says, I think it's good they got nerfed quick. Isn't that what we want? And also get armies buffed quick. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, you make a good point, Stephen, that yes, we want them to react quick if something is broken, but I guess my point is, like, it just shouldn't have been broken to begin with, because how sucky must that be if you, you know, like if you've just dropped £150 or something for some new models to make your army strong, and then it's like, oh, by the way, that thing that you were just buying the models for because you've only just read the Codex is now useless. They should leave books alone for 6 months. I mean, I don't think they should leave books alone at all. I just think they need to do more in terms of getting it right the first time round. just think it's really shitty for anyone that... Yeah, I just think it's really shitty. You don't want... You know... Yeah. You know, someone said in one of the videos that, like, the way that they think they could do the best, they would need to release all the codexes at the same time to have the most chance of balance. And I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with that. The Malceptor can put out 30... Please God, tell me you can't put out 34 mortal wounds in a single turn. A month to paint something. Yeah, I mean, it does... Do you know what? I was a much quicker painter before I had 2 kids to look after all the time, dude. I used to be able to knock out a squad in like a week. It is just what you put into it though, you know, like at the moment with the kids I really only put in like probably between 4 and 5 hours painting a week. Some weeks actually I just put in between 2 or 3, so like in a month at the moment I wouldn't even say I paint like 15-20 hours. Whereas like before I had the kids I could easily paint 100 hours a month because I would do like an hour after work every night. So that's 20 hours before we even get started. And then sometimes on the weekend I would do like 3 or 4 hours in the mornings before my wife and kids. But I only had 1 kid before my wife and kid got up. So that would have been another like 20 hours. And then, sorry, that would just be like Saturday morning. So I do that Saturday and Sunday sometimes. So I mean, that's like another 40 hours a month. And then any time on Saturday evening or something when my wife was watching something like Great British Bake Off that I didn't give a shit about, because she likes to watch all these sort of programs, then I would just paint again while she was doing all that. So I could easily do like probably 60 or 70 hours in a month, and now I'm doing like probably under 20. Plus back then when I did 70 hours a month, I didn't make YouTube videos. So I mean YouTube videos take up like, yeah, I mean I could paint a lot more if I didn't make YouTube videos, right? I enjoy making the YouTube videos though, it's all good. I just have to live with you guys giving me stick for being a slow painter. Like, the Tyrannid Codex is the next horribly broken codex. Why do they keep doing this to themselves? Why? I mean, when someone writes a rule, when like, you know, like Space Marines, a Psyker can do 2 powers for a maximum of like 6 mortal wounds. Most people run 1 Psyker, maybe 2 or something. When they build another army and they're like, hey guys, I've got this character that I've built that can do 34 mortal wounds. Maybe someone would say, hey, 34 seems like a bit of an insane number, you know? Arvor said it's the most broken codex yet. Okay, brilliant. That's just what I love to hear. Why do they keep doing this with the codexes? Why does each codex need to be stronger than the next one? Can't it just be balanced? Can't it just be balanced? Is that so much to ask? It's multiple stack channeling through synaptic link. Okay, I mean it's still a problem when you can wipe out squads or units or characters through mortal wounds, which typically, like, mortal wounds typically don't get a save against, right? Like, for the most part, most units don't have a save against mortal wounds. Yes, there's the odd exception, but mortal wounds are by definition are supposed to be rare. That's why the Space Marine psychic powers typically do 2 mortal wounds or something. Okay, but I mean, I'm surprised Andrew hasn't jumped. I mean, have any of you guys told Andrew this? Because if you tell him that you can do 34 mortal wounds in a turn from Tyrannids, we'll be playing Tyrannids on Monday rather than Tau. Because Andrew's got Tyrannids. They're probably as broken as Custodes or Harlequins. Okay, so then all we have to... I guess they'll get an FAQ. But yeah, I mean, it's another army that people will buy models based on the fact that they can do 34 mortal wounds in a turn, and it'll be nerfed. By the time that person buys the models and paints them and gets to the tournament, it'll be nerfed. And I just don't think that's a good experience for people. I'm not really concerned about the Nids. Yeah, they messed up, but anything that broken will get nerfed back fast. See Harley Void Weavers, just give it a few weeks, it'll be fine. Dale says, hi, what would you run right now with Vanguard Veterans and Death Company, or would you wait until the new Space Marine Codex? I'm still running Lightning Claw Storm Shield Vanguard Veterans. I still think they're good. Death Company, I still think Thunderhammers are good. I still think a squad of 5 Death Company, or however big you build the Death Company, you want like between sort of 40 and 60% of the models to have Thunderhammers. I still think that's good. But for me, I don't think Armor of Contempt really changed. I've already actually made slides for a video for it's actually going to come out next Friday. But in next Friday's video, like, it's all about looking at the math behind Armor of Contempt and what it actually changes, I guess. And spoiler, then, I guess, if you're asking, the spoiler is Storm Shields are actually still pretty valuable in a Space Marine list, in my opinion. And so are the typical things that carry Storm Shields. So that would be Terminators, Vanguard Veterans, or Blade Guard Veterans. I don't really think it's made some other units be able to compete with those units, but I think those units were strong. I still think they are strong. Steven says the Nid Codex is awesome. Almost every unit, strat, relic, warlord trait, the entire book is usable. Every codex should be like this. So all you gotta do is adjust points and fixes. And Dino Shepherd, my friends are moving to play a narrative crusade. Gonna make a whole Dawn of War style conquest map for it. I mean, that sounds cool. Andrew is everything it seems. Yeah, Andrew's got a million armies. Andrew's been collecting Warhammer for like, I want to say over 25 years. So, yeah, he has everything. I mean, it's like his main hobby for 25 years, I guess. And Andrew's level of painting is much more battle ready than mine, right? He gets 3 colors on the unit and they're done. He's happy with that. He cares more about the game, like the competitive side and playing games, than he does about the painting side, which is fine. Everyone's allowed to care about whatever they want to care about, right? But for me, like, I can't just put 3 colors in a model and be happy with it. I'm just not happy with that level of, the way I look at it, the models are expensive. They kind of demand a bit of your time and respect, I guess. So yeah, I'm I couldn't do what Andrew does. You know, put 3 colors in a model. But I mean, you'll do it for credit to him. You'll do, you'll do the whole army and you'll do it quickly. But yeah, I can't do that. I guess some people can. There's probably less stress in it than I get stressed when I'm like trying to paint some of these finicky little bits on these Terminators. While Scepters have been out of stock for 2 months, Warhammer will never be balanced or a perfect game. Yeah, I mean, I know it will never be balanced or a perfect game, but they definitely need to at least rein in some of the craziness, right? I view AOC more as a buff for non-Storm Shield units. It is and it isn't. You know, it's against non-Storm Shield units, I guess it's a buff against -1 AP. Once you start getting to -2 AP, it can be actually kind of similar, and then once you get to like AP 3 and more, it's you're still better off having the Storm Shields. So, although AOC is a buff for a lot of stuff, I don't think it changes the value of Storm Shields. Like, Storm Shields to me are still valuable. You still want them in your army. You're still going to get value out of having Vanguard veterans with Storm Shields or Terminators with Storm Shields. Like, AOC doesn't take anything away from that. It just means that other stuff is a bit more viable. Dallas Open begins tomorrow. Any advice for first tournament? And it'll be a friggin' major. Any advice for a first tournament? I mean, that's a good question. I mean, how well do you know your stuff, Dave? Because if you know all your rules and everything, then I would spend the time probably looking at like what lists that you might be up against, because like know your enemy is a big part of winning a tournament. If you're not 100% familiar with all your stratagems and everything on your side of stuff, then I would spend the time thinking about my army and thinking about every stratagem that I could possibly play that will give me an advantage, and knowing and trying to make sure that I know as much of that off the top of my head, right? I also did a video a little while ago that not many people watched. Do you know what? I'll show you it. I'll show you the thumbnail and you can watch it. 1 second. Let me pull up my channel on my other screen. Alright, hold on. So go over to Blood Angels Commander channel on YouTube. It'll look something like this. Click into the tactics playlist. It's like, it'll be on the front page. Don't double click and go into this video. Go into the tactics playlist. You should see something like this. Spoiler if anyone noticed it for the new video at the top of the list that's coming out on Friday or tomorrow. I guess you could rewind the stream and see it if you really wanted to. Scroll down the tactics list. Where the hell is it? This is probably why nobody watched it. No one will be able to find it. This one. Warhammer 40,000 key tips for the fight phase. How well do you know your fight phase? Oh, I guess you can't see the thumbnail. Let me put it here. So it's this one here. I mean, I could probably get a link for it in chat. If you are familiar with the fight phase, great. But if you're not super familiar with the fight phase, as in like you've played a bit of Warhammer, but you're not like, you wouldn't class yourself as an expert at the fight phase, then I would say have a watch of that video. I'm going to put it in the chat right now in case you couldn't find it. But like in that video, I kind of show you all the nooks and crannies that you can do to get the absolute maximum amount of movement out of the fight phase, how you can cause your opponent problems. Blood Angels obviously excel in the fight phase. We tend to score I'd say, the majority of our points in the fight phase. So that might be worth half an hour of your time before your tournament. So 55 people. 64% of you guys think that it's going to be exciting, the new night rules. I'm kind of excited. I'd like to make a night at some point. If I was doing it on stream, then you guys would be like, oh look, it's John, the guy that just paints this one night forever. And then you would be accurate. I've gone to 2 Storm Shields for 5 Vanguard Veteran myself. I mean, that's fair enough, DT. I mean, it depends on how valuable you think the invulnerable save is on the Vanguard Veterans, like how you're going to use them, that sort of thing. The craziness sells models, says Thordalim. Yeah, I mean, the craziness does sell models. Not a huge fan of the craziness, though, I guess. I don't like Death Company with Thunder Hammers. I prefer Power Fists and Infernal Pistols, the same cost, but doing damage in more than one phase. I mean, I think the Thunder Hammer Death Company is just, I guess, almost like I guess you would say like the canon one? Or the one that you expect people to run, whereas like Infernal Pistols and Power Fists, I think it's fine. I mean, it's not great against enemies that are -1 damage, I guess. But like, I don't think it's a horrible idea. I've looked at it before, but up until now I've been more focused on the... If I was going to run Death Company, I would run Thunder Hammers. But I have heard some people have had success with Infernals and Power Fists. That video was a phenomenal help for my first tournament, says Steve. Thank you, Steve. It's funny that YouTube, sometimes you make a video and you think like, hey, you know, I spent ages doing that, getting the camera position, talking over all the things, you know, trying to think of all the different situations that you could get bonuses from. You try and make a good thumbnail that looks like it's sort of quite engaging because you've got like, you know, the tape measure there and stuff, trying to make it look like, you know, I know what I'm talking about. And then like it gets no views, and then you make another video on YouTube that you spend no time on. I've had videos before where like I've been rushed, you know, because obviously I've got super young kids. So I've definitely had it where like I've literally had like 2 hours to film a video from start to finish. So I've thrown something together and I've thought after I've made it, I'm like, that definitely was not a good video this week. I wish I'd had more time, just the kids were driving me up the wall or literally crying whenever I put them down, so I couldn't get the time that I wanted to work on the video, and then like it gets tons of views. So YouTube is it's a weird one, because then sometimes I don't know, like, would people want more videos like that, or would people not? You know, like, why didn't people watch it? Did people didn't think it would be helpful, or what? You know, like, it's like I have to base future video ideas on like if people watch videos, right? So it's a tough one sometimes. But I appreciate the kind words, Steve. Thank you. Nights are a bit quicker to paint, and they're relatively easy to sub-assemble, and you could use a big brush for many parts. Yeah. So what are you saying? I could actually paint a night in less than a month? Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna. I think I'm definitely gonna pick up a night, and it's not like there's nothing that I can't paint. It's just timing sometimes. These Terminators have taken ages, but like I said, if I only get so many hours a week, it's hard to crack on and get through all the painting. I'm sure in the next couple of years that it's going to return more to normal, because I was actually getting to a really good rhythm when we just had the one kid, where I was actually getting like more time. You know, she was going down for bed at like 7 o'clock and stuff, and it was like, okay, so I've actually got an evening now where I can like work on some YouTube stuff and get a bit more painting done. But just adding the second kid has set us back a little bit, but it's fine. I'll get there. I'm not worried. Hey John, what's your intention for your Math Hammers video? A little outdated because of AOC. Well, that's what I was saying just before this guy. I have a new video with a ton of maths coming out next Friday. I finished up all the slides for it last night, actually. So I just gotta film it and edit it and stuff. So I'll be doing that like in the next couple of days. So it'll be ready for next Friday. So yeah, I mean, if there's a specific video that you really need to, if there's a specific model that you really wanted to see, but the video that I'm working on for next week is all about storm shields, and you know, there's a huge debate at the moment, like, should we just drop all of our storm shields? How do they affect survivability? So, I have a Math Hammer video coming out about that for next week, basically. But yeah, I mean, I suppose it's hard to know exactly what Math Hammer people need to see based on Armor of Contempt, but I think the Storm Shield question seemed like one that was being asked a lot. You know, should I drop all my Storm Shields? Should I keep some? So hopefully, like, I just wanted to do a video that just answers the question, or at least it gives you the facts, right? So it's like you can then use those facts to decide what you want to do with the, you know, ultimately you guys build your list, not me, right? You're gonna add a knight to your army, DTM, nice. What, do you play Marines at all, DTM? I forget. Well, I know you play Thousand Suns. I mean, like, do you play Loyalist Marines? I'm sure I've asked you, but you gotta remember I'm running on like less sleep than normal as well because of those 2 kids, so I don't remember shit as well as I used to, that's for sure. Again, I felt like I was getting back to a point where I was like getting loads of sleep, and then we had the second kid. We're done now, we're not having any more kids. I've told the wife 2 is plenty. You got your Volkites 3D printed, didn't you? Have you seen the jump packs designed by Sifi in the Discord? Thinking about getting some printed. I only got the Volkites printed because I couldn't get a hold of the official stuff. I'm actually not a huge fan of like third-party prints and stuff in general. Like, if I can get the official models, I typically will get the official stuff. I mean, I guess some people like the third-party stuff because it's cheaper. Yeah, I don't really have an answer for that, except like if I can get the official stuff, I'll get it. And as far as jump packs goes, I was actually looking through my bits box last night because I'm actually building a squad of Tempest Scions to convert into Voidsman at Arms. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to need Voidsman at Arms, but I think it's an interesting option. So I was looking through my bits box last night, and I actually found like jump packs brand new on Sprue. I have at least 5 of them. I actually have a bunch of Firstborn Marines brand new on Sprue as well. So I guess based on that, I'm not in any hurry to get more. And I'm sure I've said this to you guys, and this is one of the reasons I don't use contrast paint, is I like my stuff to match. So even if somebody came out with something super cool, like 3D printed that looks more like Blood Angels themed or something, if it doesn't match everything that I've already done, then it's going to be hard for me to get excited about it, because yeah, I just want things to match what I've already done. It's as simple as that, really. Stuff must match. What knight you gonna get? I'm actually gonna wait. I think the Knight Codex comes out like next week, right? So I think I'll probably have to buy the Knight Codex to see all the new rules, and then from there decide which knight is going to be best. But I do think the cheaper the better might be the way to do the knight, or the cheaper shooting the better. So a shooty knight that is as cheap as possible. So it's like a bullet magnet, but it still lets me bring as many jump pack units as possible. This guy is looking forward to adding a Desecrator Knight to my Be'lakor and Thousand Suns army. For the sake of saving 20 points on my list, I think I'm likely to keep most of the Storm Shields. I suspect we'll be seeing a lot of high AP, so then Vulnerable Save will be helpful. Gitli, I'm pretty much on the same page as you on that. And that's why I wanted to do the video on... That's why I wanted to do a video on, like, is it still worth it to include the Storm Shields? Because I think we will see a lot of people spec into high AP stuff to deal with Marines. So having a mix of Storm Shields, which I still think are good, like, you gotta remember, nothing changed with Storm Shields. So if you thought, like, a squad of Terminators with Storm Shields were really survivable before, well, nothing's changed there. It's only the ones that maybe weren't survivable before. Like the one that I was actually, so my video looking at Storm Shields also includes like a bunch of other units, because I wanted to get a broad picture. So I included like Gravis in that video, or in those slides, which are coming out next week. So yeah, I just wanted to include Gravis because I was like, well, are Gravis comparable now? Because there's the Armor of Contempt, you know, because they have that extra toughness and stuff, so typically they get wounded on one worse of a dice roll. So, yeah, I've covered Gravis as well, and I think I've covered Death Company and Sanguinary Guard, and then the typical Storm Shield holders. So it's like, the idea for the video is just to get a full comparison, like across a range of units. Like, do we still need Storm Shields? Are they still valuable? If so, when are they still valuable? And, you know, yeah. I think it'll be a good video. I think it'll. I mean, just look. I just know what I've put together so far, and I think what Gitli just said is really justified based on the numbers that I'm seeing. It's like it is still really valuable to have all those things that we taught. You know. It is still really valuable to have. For the 20 points you pay for the Storm Shield, it's probably still valuable to have them at some point in your army. Good evening, Matthew. Hello. Yeah, I mean, if someone wants to donate, what is it, Astreus? £254? If someone wants to donate £254, I'll literally take the. I'll literally decapitate this guy right now. But no one's going to do it, so it's all good. If you have £254 sitting in your bank account that you really don't need, then spend it on your kids or something. Don't spend it on me. What HQs would you take in an all Terminator 1000 point list? Probably a captain and a chaplain Terminator. I mean, or a librarian. Maybe, yeah. Do you know what? Terminator librarian and Terminator captain, but I prefer librarians over chaplains. Some people go the other way. I just like librarians, I think. I'd probably put a Thunderhammer on the captain, and I'd probably put like a combi melta, and either obviously a sword or an axe. I actually don't think the staff is that good on the on the librarian. I think a sword or an axe is better. I think the staff is just -1 AP, and I guess -1 AP has been hit the hardest, right, with the Armor of Contempt changes. The cheapest shooty knight in the current indication is the Crusader at 475 points. And is that with a thermal cannon, or is that with because see, I don't really like the thermal cannon. I think it has the same problems as the Redemptor Dreadnought, right? Because it's D6 shots and then it's D6 damage. So I just don't like I just don't like D6 shots, and I especially don't like, you guys know I hate D6 damage. I mean, as much as I complain about D6 damage, we did roll a double 6 and kill Cullen's Demon Prince on Monday night, which was pretty fun with that multi-melt, alright? Land Speeder coming in and just doing 14 damage to the Demon Prince in a single turn. I mean, that's pretty good, but I mean, I think because someone was like, wow, the Land Speeder, that was so good, and I was like, yeah, do you know what? I've been running Land Speeders and multi-meltas for basically like over a year, and that's only the second time that's happened where I've rolled a double 6 on the damage for like the multi-melta coming in. The other time I did it, it was in a tournament as well against Dark Elder, and it was kind of glorious, but you know, it doesn't happen very often, I guess. Definitely not something you should be trying to rely on. If 44 people watching, if we all donate $5.77, you'd have to cut the helmet off. Well, don't, because you know how long I've been working on these Terminators. I thought this was going to be an epic game stream. No, unfortunately, it's not an epic game stream. Fruit Gummy, I have got a new computer coming tomorrow, so I'm gonna hopefully stream that new 40k game next week. I think it releases on Thursday, that new 40k Grey Knight game. But no, unfortunately, no epic game stream yet. Am I edge highlighting the Thunderhammer with a darker red? Actually, yes, but it's not edge highlighting, it's a recess wash. I'm recess washing it with Agrax Earthshade to just basically make it look a little bit dirtier. That's how I've done all these lines. I don't edge highlight, I just recess wash. So in a sense, it's basically the opposite of edge highlighting. Someone's going to donate $5.77.
DTM donated €10 via Super Chat, starting the Astreus Fund. Scissor.
Okay, I like how it even read out scissor. Wow. Okay. Scissor indeed. Thank you, DTM. Appreciate that. I completely I think I was putting some Agrax Earthshade in. Sorry, Null Noil into these eyes up here. That's what I was doing. Lost train of thought. I'm just jumping around on these guys trying to get... I think probably either at the end of this stream or at the end of next stream I'll have picked out enough little details here and there where I can sort of, I guess, maybe wash my hands with these guys and be like, because that can be a hard thing sometimes to know when is enough, in terms of like, when are you happy with the models, when have you felt like you've done enough to justify them, and you know, like I always say, I only paint battle ready, or I guess what I would call it is maybe like a battle ready plus. So like I'm not actively trying to be the best painter in the world. I'm just trying to. Oh, here it comes. All right, £234 to go.
Donated £10 via Super Chat.
Ed, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Nathan says, let's get away from this idea of the Primaris helmet has to go, and let's get on the idea of let's talk about the new box that Nathan's mentioning. I can't wait for the plastic contemptor. I've held off on buying one so far, and have one I can pose that has multiple weapon options as standard should be good. Yeah, I like the look of the Cyclone missile launcher in the new contemptor as well, right? Like, that's just a new alternate design for the Cyclone missile launcher we've never really seen before, right? So that's interesting. They didn't take like the, you know how Blood Angel's got like a special Blood Angel's got like a special contemptor body. They didn't stop selling that, did they, or did they? I actually don't know. I know that if you go onto the Forge World website, you can't get relic terminators at the moment. I'm terrible. I always go back touching up my models, so nothing's ever done. Well, see, what I do is I get to a point where I feel like I've done a lot and I'm pretty happy with them, and then I just varnish them. And the varnish is like, sometimes when I take them outside to varnish them, I'll like look at something and be like, you know, oh damn it, I missed this shoulder pad, or damn it, I could have done that better. But like, you know, for someone who's aiming for battle ready, at some point you probably just have to say, you just have to say like it is the end, you know, and essentially do your thing, I guess. But yeah, it can be quite hard when you're getting into the hobby to know, you know, when's the point you can just be like, yeah, it's okay to call this done, or it's okay to sort of. And I think it is possible to go back and touch stuff up forever, because I know myself that I've done it.
Sean Robinson donated $5 via Super Chat. I just want to see you build and paint that tank.
Thanks, Sean. I actually would love to build and paint an Astraeus. I had a lot of fun painting the Falchion, honestly. And even the Falchion was a bit of a nightmare to build. Some of the instructions you get from Forge World, and anyone that's bought Forge World models will attest to it, is like some of the instructions can just be so bad. It's just like they show you all the parts on one page and you turn it over and they show you the complete tank. And it was like, guys, there's like a step between those two steps. But like some of the Forge World ones, it just feels like that's your instructions. It's like, here you go, good luck. So yeah, I think I like the Astraeus. Obviously I don't have one, but I think one day I will get one. I'm kind of excited to get a knight first, though, right? Like maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll get a knight, then I'll get the Astraeus. But I think both would be good. I just think well, I actually don't know now. I'm gonna have to buy the Knight Codex. Oh, you guys, for the tank. Okay, we really want the tank. We're now 10% of the way to the tank. Martin's in for removing the head on the abomination for $4.99 US. Reziel might make a new video tonight. I think Reziel, you need to make a video on why Primaris helmets are awesome on Terminators. I mean, if you took a photo of this guy and put it in the thumbnail, you would get views just because people hate this guy with a passion. I mean, I honestly thought he was cool when I made him. Don't make me cut his head off. Isn't it cool that he just goes around murdering Xenos with his like thrift shop helmet? Seeing these little sensor things, right? Whatever they are on the, see these little, I guess they're like my god, you guys are insane. James coming in with a $5.
James Richards donated £5 via Super Chat. I started this so. Hashtag Astrius Meta. Steve G donated $10 via Super Chat. Team Knight plus Terminator Head.
Do these little... I don't even know what they are. They're like little targeters, I think. Like, these actually might not be on the assault Terminators, right? I thought these were originally part of, like, shooting Terminators, but... maybe they are on the assault Terminators. I don't know. What are they? Are they lights? They're not lights, surely. They're like some sort of scanner, right? Oscar just finished painting some Terminator arms. Thank you guys for all the super chats tonight. It's very generous of you. You're always advocating Astrath, and I'm always iffy on it. Yeah, I am always iffy on Astrath. That is true. Why include Astrath in your army? There you go. Do you know, when Astrath was 110 points, I ran him in every list. Honestly, I ran him in every single list, every single battle. When he was 110 points. I think he actually was 100 points before then. Those lenses are so they can share videos from other situations on Space Hulks. Alright, well then I'm going to paint them Warpstone green, I guess. These are actually the most complete. These are the most complete Terminators I've ever painted, by the way. Because my my shooting Terminators are not. They're not as complete as this, paint-wise. I think after this I'm going to dry brush some of these wings on the shoulder pads. But okay, so everybody's really keen on the Astraeus, which I actually think is a good tank now, right? Because it doesn't have martial legacy, and it's got those void generators, and it's got T8, and it's got 30 wounds. Here's a question for you. Do you guys actually think if, like, I know some people in the chat actually own fell blades, because I've seen some of them posted on, like, on the Discord and stuff. Do you guys think the falchion and the fell blade are more viable now? Well, I mean, they are more viable because Armor of Contempt basically meant, like, even at like -5, for example, they still get a save. But maybe more viable is the wrong word. Like, do you think you could win a GT with a super heavy tank in a Blood Angels list now? Because I actually would kind of like to win a GT with a super heavy tank in the list. I think it'd be kind of fun. The other thing that I like about the Astraeus is it flies, right? So, like, one of the big problems with super heavy tanks is being mobile and getting, getting around big pieces of terrain or something like that. If you've got some terrain, big terrain in your deployment zone, it could cause you problems. Well, like, the Astraeus will just fly over it. So it won't cause it that many problems, right? Ed, you're popping off tonight, man.
Ed Garnham donated £10 via Super Chat. Make tanks great again.
Maybe after this week's match, then I should run. Maybe I should run the falchion into Andrew's Tower or something and see how it does. Because see, that's probably why I think that the Astraeus has the edge over the Falchion. Void shields potentially can just, you know, like one of the weaknesses of the Falchion, I guess, would be like if the Tau has a bunch of railguns, they could mess it up. But I actually don't think we're going to see that many railguns in the meta. Like, I think you'll maybe see the odd list that has like a single railgun. I don't think you're going to see people running 3 railguns. We need a new monthly goal, the Astraeus. I mean, I guess the monthly goal. All right, just for you then. After this month ends, and I set up my goal for May. Maybe the goal for May will be the Astraeus.
Thordalam de Caladai donated €10 via Super Chat for the beheading UHM tank.
Okay, so I've never followed any YouTube like I follow you. It's been a long time Blood Angels fan, and I've greatly benefited from your tier lists and breakdowns. We've watched you paint and talk about it, says Keith. Oh, that's very kind of you, Keith. I'm glad that I'm helping. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the channel. I mean, I probably started the channel from a greedy point of view, in that like I wanted you guys in the community to help me, but I think it's turned into the fact that like we just both help each other now, and I think it's great, and I think we get so many good people in the Discord and also the Facebook group. If you're not in Discord, you should really jump into the Discord, Keith, because there's so many helpful people in our Discord, and yeah, very, very kind of you to say that comment. Okay, Thoroldim wants the beheading in the tank, and what about a series of submissions from the Legion? You can check out our work and give advice. Do you mean like in terms of painting, Keith? Because we did put in, we did have a painting competition just like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I guess you just
Daniel
missed
Lindberg
it.
donated 300 Swedish krona via Super Chat, approximately $30 for the tank and a decapitation.
Okay, Daniel, thanks, guys. This is probably going to be the best stream I've ever done in terms of super chats. I need to make more monstrosities of units. I'm gonna put a Primaris head on my knight. It's just gonna be this giant knight with like a tiny little Primaris head on it. Or what about this guy's head? I could just cut his head off. He's a Primaris lieutenant, isn't he? I think I've dropped a bit of him. But yeah, I mean, like, we could just cut off this guy's Primaris head and we could stick it on the knight. And then we could do another super chat giveaway. I like that Primaris lieutenant. He needs repainted so badly, though. The paint that they put on him, like the default paint that's on him, is just terrible. Those Joy Toy ones look cool as all hell. I don't know if you guys saw the new, like, I guess it's like a Furioso Dreadnought Joy Toy. They look really, really good. This Primaris Lieutenant, I think this was Bandai. He does not look good. He needs resprayed and painted, but that's a project for another day. No, Tau heads on Sangre Guard for the extra heresy, says Robert. Yeah, I mean, okay. Blood Reziel says a space move. I mean, you guys are taking it a bit too far. I mean, please God, anything but an Imperial Crusader with an intercessor head. Again, that would get clicks on the thumbnails because people would be like, what the is this guy on about? I'd be like, I'd be thrown out of the Warhammer community. Like, I don't know how much the Joy Toys are going to cost. I saw someone unbox the Death Company ones, and I think it cost like maybe like $70 or $80 for like the 4 Death Company ones, or maybe it was 5. It would make sense to be 5, but I think it might have actually been 4. The the issue that I had with the Joy-Con ones is like I didn't know where to buy them. Like I saw that they'd announced it on Warhammer Community, but sometimes when they announce stuff on the Warhammer Community, it's like an early announcement. It's not like, hey, you can go buy it now over at this website or something. And then before I know it, people had bought the Joy Toys, I think they're called, and you know, I was seeing people on like Twitter unboxing them and stuff, and I was like, oh, so I just must have missed it, right? Good evening, Foz. How you doing? What's a Joy Toy in my country? I think it means something else. It's a brand of like kids' toys, and I can probably get the picture up because I've seen it all over Twitter. Joy Toy Blood Angels. Yeah, something like this. Oh, I just have to move the chat out of the way so I can see it. So these are like posable miniatures that also look pretty damn cool, right? But they just put up a picture like there was just a picture of basically the same brand. I think it's called, the brand is Joy Toy, and it was like it was like a Furioso Dreadnought and like a Gravis Marine and I think it was a Gravis Marine, I think it was an Intercessor, an Incursor, and I forget like the fourth model. But I mean, if the 4 Death Company guys were like, what did we say, like if the 4 Death Company guys were like let me think, like $80, then I guess this might be like 100 or maybe like 100 and some. But I mean, cool display pieces for your wall or something, right? Or maybe not your wall, a shelf, I guess. Is that like the McFarlane action figures line? So I have this guy. I got him when he came out. I thought he was Bandai, but maybe this is the McFarlane action figure, and he's okay, I guess. But like at the same time, I feel like he's a little. Well, his paint job is crap. It's very one tone. Well, it's not even painted, is it? It's just plastic. It's just colored plastic. So I think you would want to spray this guy and repaint him. And I think he cost about $12. And like you can see here, the quality of this plastic is kind of. I guess it's kind of cheap. I mean, he's a big toy for $20, I guess. Yeah, the Joy Toy ones just look so much better, right? Their action figures about G. I think they're somewhere in between. So I think the McFarlane ones maybe like 6 inches high. How high are those Joy Toy ones? I think they're in between. Congrats on the blue helmet, Foz. Thank you so much for being a member for multiple months. I do really appreciate it. The one I have is the McFarlane one. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like, the McFarlane one was easy to get a hold of. It was the thing that annoyed me, I guess, was like the Joy Toy Death Companies, because I think I for sure would have bought those Death Company ones. And I remember seeing the announcement. Do you know what? They could have gone on sale, I suppose, when my wife was in hospital for like 3 weeks with the premature baby, so it could have all happened during that. So, I mean, I could have missed it just based on that. But yeah. They look a lot cooler than the one that I got, basically. All right, here's a budget tip for you guys. So, Games Workshop sell these dry brushes, and this is quote unquote a small dry brush, right? That's a small dry brush. Well, for me, I want to dry brush that tiny little wing there. So how you do that with this small dry brush is basically you can't. You get no bloody chance without the paint going everywhere. So here's my tip. You find your old dry brush, you get a pair of scissors, and you cut the edges off of it. Like that. Now you got a small dry brush, right? Honestly, I don't think they sell a very small dry brush, so unless you can find a site that sells a smaller dry brush than that, that was my tip. Cut the edge off both sides of the dry brush. I could have honestly cut this one a little bit smaller, maybe even. The Blood Angels Joy Toy Veterans are at Toys R Us in Canada. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, I mean, if you've never heard of the Joy Toys, they are a thing. You can definitely get your hands on them if you know where to look, I guess. Just I didn't find anywhere that had them when I was looking, I guess. Because I quite like the look of those Death Company ones, and the new Dreadnoughts and that look very cool. GW brushes belong in a dumpster. Use makeup brushes for dry brushing. Yeah, I mean, when I want to do these tiny little things, I guess a dry brush that's cut in half is kind of the best idea I've got for it. You got to remember, when we had the painting competition just a few weeks back, a lot of you guys like, I don't think I would have been top 10 at the painting competition. A lot of you guys paint better than I do, for sure. And I guess that comes back to, I think it was Keith's question in the chat about, like, me giving advice on painting. I mean, I don't think I'm qualified to give advice on painting, Keith. I can show you how to paint battle-ready stuff, but, like, yeah, beyond that, painting isn't my forte. Killing Xenos in the battlefield is my forte. But, like I said, there's loads of people in Discord that are better painters than me that would be more than happy to give you advice and stuff. So yeah, if you've not joined the Discord, you should totally do that. And there is a specific room for, like, work in progress and hobby progress. Can't wait to see a dry brush on Astrea's super heavy tank with that brush. Yeah, no, I mean, I like to, I have a way of doing these little wings, whatever you would call them, on all the shoulder pads. I like to make things easy for myself. So how I do the wings on the shoulder pads is I just paint them Celestial Grey, then I wash them with Nuln Oil, and then I just like to dry brush them with Praxi White. And it's a very simple way to do it, but I feel like you get a pretty good effect out of it. But, like, if you don't have, like, a tiny little dry brush, you'll get the damn Praxi White everywhere. So this is the way that, because I do it on all my Sangori Guard. I mean, I do this on all my Death Company models as well. And like I said, I always try and find, like, a style or a hack or something that makes things easy for myself, because I'm aiming for battle ready and I'm not the greatest painter. So this was my way of doing it. The end. Welcome. I'm sure you were a member before the end, but regardless, thank you so much. Appreciate you becoming a member, brother. Really do appreciate it. It's been a very cool stream tonight. You guys have been very, and then, yeah, like on this little one, like, how do you even do that with a quote-unquote small dry brush? I guess you don't, or, like I said, I'm not the best. Get more paint on the red around it than I will on the actual little wings. Oh, for the tank as well. Okay. A lot of people want to see the Strauss tank. I'm surprised. I didn't think people would be so excited about the Strauss. It's not that it's a bad thing. I actually think it's a very cool tank. I'm addicted to Da Vinci Kolinsky 35 brushes, even though they're pricey. Too busy just building models though lately. Do you know what? I actually love the Artist Opal brushes. I don't know if you've used them. I've got one of them over here. It's like I'm saving it for best. I don't know if you guys know that phrase. I've got an Artist Opal Series S. This is brand new. I think I just knocked the top off. Well, yeah, it didn't come with it when I picked up the brush, but like saving it for best just means like saving it for when you really need it, I guess. But these are like $13 each. They do last a long time, and I think that's the Kolinsky hair that you talk about. But I've honestly had that brush now for probably like a year at this point, and I guess I really am saving it for, I don't know what the hell I'm going to paint that's more difficult than these Terminators, but I guess I'm saving it for something in the future. I don't know how well you can see that on there, but I do like this effect. Oh, look at all the paint I got everywhere else. And that is with the small dry brush. God damn it. I'm gonna fix that. Ed has one Artist Opal brush and is scared to use it. Yeah, I mean, I had one and I used it for about 6 months and it was a brilliant brush, so I bought another one. But yeah, it's it can get that way sometimes, where it's like you have a really expensive brush. It feels like I want to save it for like a character or something that's going to be really tricky to do, I guess. I'm a big fan of the Element Games brushes, though, as like a middle ground. They feel well costed and they last like a good amount of time. Oh, don't drop the models, John. So with Warhammer Week coming up for the beginning of May, is there any predictions or reveals that you're excited for, says Brandon? I wonder if it's going to be the squat range that we're going to see. I mean, it kind of feels like it probably would be. I mean, I've been waiting for the longest time for some like really usable Blood Angels jump Primaris models, but I think that's wishful thinking, right? I had to throw away all of my older brushes to force myself to use the ones I've been saving as well, says Stephen. That's so funny, Stephen, because like, look at this, like I have this giant pot of old brushes and they're all probably effed. And I don't know why I would even keep in most of them. I never go into the pot of old brushes, but like, it's there. Honestly, yeah, it's probably 100% the right call to throw out the old brushes and just be like, use your new brushes. I tend to use the old ones to paint something until I get to a point where like I just can't do the fine detail anymore. And then I'm like, right, I really need to start using a new brush, like, which I should have probably done like 3 weeks before or something. B-Mix says, hey man, I just got into the hobby and I wanted to say that your videos helped me decide I wanted to collect Blood Angels after buying a bunch of AdMech. Well, sorry B-Mick. I'm glad that you finally found what you wanted to collect, I guess. AdMech are cool too, though. I mean, they're still a strong faction. You could still have quite a bit of fun with AdMech. Old brushes are for washes, dry brushing, terrain, etc. Yeah, that's very true. Valrak said that new Primaris jump infantry are done and ready, but GW is waiting for a time to release them, probably Codex 2.0. I mean, that's probably true. My big thought is if there is new jump infantry, they better give them more customization in terms of close combat weapons, because if they don't do that right, then there'll be no reason to run them over Firstborn. And I guess that's kind of a worry for me. SWATs will just get a short preview. Yeah, I really imagine that whatever stream is coming on the 4th will be something to do with squats. I mean, there might be another army in there as well, but I think there will be some squats content. I'd be very surprised if we don't get more squats content. Why can't I find any YouTubers of this quality for other factions? It's just not fair, says this guy. I mean, people have asked me that before, and I've said to them, like, well, there's the opportunity. I mean, like, I was essentially a nobody. I just picked up my camera one day and thought, like, I want to make YouTube videos on my favorite faction, you know? So if you got your favorite faction, then maybe that's something you could do. B Commander, love the battle rep against Death Guard. What do you think the possible Freeblade Knight with their Blood Angels? We've been talking about that a little bit, Felix. I think I'm going to buy the Knight Codex. I think it's a great option to have a Knight. I've always kind of wanted to make one of those Knight models because I've always thought they look cool, but I always shied away from it because obviously you lose... Previously, I guess we would lose our Doctrines and stuff, and I didn't like the idea of that because I rely a hell of a lot on the Doctrines to keep us competitive. So I think the Freeblade is going to be really interesting. I think in the next 6 months I'll get a Knight for sure. I'm just going to wait until the Codex comes out and buy it, so I don't end up like buying the wrong Knight essentially. Because I guess if you buy one now, the rules could change a little bit. But I think it's great. I think it makes sense as well from like a lore standpoint that Knights could easily ally with the Blood Angels. So, and also there's a third-party company that makes like a custom. They make some custom bits for Knights to make your Knight look even more Blood Angels. So when I go to get my Knight, I might save the extra money and buy those custom Knight bits so that like. Basically, it's almost like the Knight has like a. It's almost like the Knight is wearing one of those Sanguinary Guard death masks. It's very cool. Is there anything that I'm missing from my army? Says Earthman Brick. There's a couple of things. I don't have an Ironclad Dreadnought yet. I don't have any of those new Primaris tanks, but I'm not sure if any of them are really that useful. And don't use a painting handle, says Chris. I used to use the painting handle, Chris. The problem is that if I'm trying to stream and use the painting handle, I just end up bashing it into the camera mount all the time, so I just had to stop using it. I know I end up probably taking some of the paint back off the models with my fingers, but I couldn't. I guess I just couldn't sort of work out the logistics of trying to. I mean, maybe that was at my old house, but yeah, I I could never quite get. I do have the Games Workshop painting handle, and I did use it a lot before I started streaming my painting. I wonder if GW ever go back on the only options in the box policy of theirs, so we don't have another nightmare like the Plague Marine unit upgrades. Yeah, I mean that's something that I kind of despise, I guess. And I've got a video coming out on that as well. Actually, the limitations of the Primaris Marines. I do hope that changes. I really, that's one of the things that I think is going to be that's going to need to change, because like, imagine tomorrow they let you have you know, whatever jump pack unit you want. Let's say Primaris Sanguinary Guard. If they could only let's say, but you can only take, let's say, like 1 axe in the squad because the box comes full of swords. People might not jump onto Primaris Sanguinary Guard, right? Because it's like, well, the Firstborn have better options, so I'll keep using the Firstborn. And I think that's a big problem with Primaris. Alright, I think I'm not going to manage to finish these guys tonight. I've got 20 more minutes on the stream, then I gotta go to bed. Did I do all the wings though? Yeah, I think I did all the wings. Oh, there's wings on the shield. I better do them as well. I don't have any Primaris tanks yet. The Stratus yeah, do you know what? If I do buy a Primaris tank, it will be the Stratus first, so you don't have to worry about that. I keep looking at the Gladiator, and I keep looking at that. What's the other one? It's not the tank. It's the new land speeder. What's it called again? It's the hammer. I think it's just called the Storm Speeder. Is it the Storm Speeder Hammer Strike? Thank you so much for following, Neon. So I keep looking at the Gladiator, and I keep looking at the Storm Speeder, and because it's like these are the cool new Primaris models, and you kind of want them to work in your army, but I actually just don't see how they work. So it's like I look at them and I'm like, yeah, they're cool, they look cool, I want one because they look cool, but like I just don't think they have any place on the battlefield. They just don't have that great rules, and even though Games Workshop have tried to drop their points like 2 or 3 times now, I'm still not convinced that they're the right points. So yeah, I don't know how I guess I just don't feel that it's not worth getting a Gladiator. I mean, does anyone in chat have a Gladiator? Has anyone had success running the Gladiator? I mean, the Reaper is basically the spiritual successor of the Ball Predator, right? So like, just on coolness factor alone, you would think that people would run the Reaper because it looks like the Ball Predator. I've bought some Assault Intercessors. What do you guys recommend I buy next for my Blood Angels? Sanguinary Guard, probably one of the strongest units that we can run. Incursors as well, super useful. James Richards says Infiltrators. I mean, the box of Infiltrators lets you build Incursors and Infiltrators, so a box of them and go halfy, or either way. A lot of people run Incursors. I love Incursors. I think they're the best troop choice at the moment. Any thoughts on the Venerable Dreadnoughts? I mean, the Venerable Dreadnoughts are fine. They probably got a boost from the Armor of Contempt rule, right? We just don't see that many people play Venerables. I think if you're going to run Venerables, you probably need to run a couple or maybe 3 of them in a list. But I think they're decent. They definitely got a buff out of Armor of Contempt, as did a lot of other things, but you know, they will be quite survivable now. And I mean, I like the fact that they have a 2-up weapon skill and ballistic skill as well. I mean, that's one of the big weaknesses of the regular dreadnoughts, I guess, right? Is the 3-up. Interestingly, John Lennon swears by the Thunderstrike now. What weapon options is the Thunderstrike? Is that the one that's got the 3-shot multi-melta and the 3 damage missiles, or is that something else? And what does John Lennon even run that in? Pana has a gladiator he's never used. Exo has a gladiator that can be used in... Oh, the gladiator can be used as an impulsor, but I mean, no one's really running that many impulsors either, are they? I have an impulsor and I ran it a few times to transport Blade Guard veterans, and then I kind of felt like it was too expensive in terms of points for what it brings. Neon says, very nice Blood Angels. I appreciate that, Neon, thank you. You haven't been here before, Neon, I guess, just because you just subscribed tonight, which I do appreciate. But if you'd been here, then you'd know that I've been painting these guys on stream now for about 20 streams. I've been painting these 5-man Terminator squads, and everybody's making fun of how long it's taken me. So I appreciate your nice comment. You're my new favorite person in the channel. Look at that. That's how you need to behave, guys. I'm just fucking with you. But yeah, no, I do appreciate the kind comments, thank you. Yeah, these guys are battle ready now for sure. I could literally just spray them tomorrow and be done with them, but I think I'm gonna give them Saturday night. I think I'll do one more painting stream on Saturday night. I'll give them 2 more hours and then I'm gonna call them done. So wherever we get after 2 hours on Saturday night is where they're gonna end up, because like I said, sometimes I find it quite hard to draw the line and be like, yeah, I could go back and forward touching these guys up forever probably. So Saturday night will be the last of it. Ironclad over Venerable says Foz. It's got 3 1d6 damage anti-tank shots and 2 Icarus rocket pods, but natively ballistic skill 2+. He's mainly running on Dark Angels. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure I love... Yeah, I mean, I'm just not really a fan of those new speeders. I guess the one with the BS2 makes sense. If you're going to run, you could run the one with the BS2 because it's got the most reliability. And I mean, they took them down to 145 points, which is reasonable. So they're not too overcosted, I would guess now, because they were pretty overcosted at one point, right? Hey Nate, I caught a live painting stream. Hey John, and good evening. You caught me like 15 minutes before the end of the stream, but I do appreciate you jumping in, Nate. How you doing? Neon says it took him 5 months to paint 20 Chaos Cultists. Yeah, I mean, painting is what you make of it, right? I'm pleased. This guy was one of those easy... He wasn't easy to build. He was, what do you call it? He was one of those Space Marine hero models. So like a custom pose on a custom base. He's turned out really nicely, actually. I need to paint the underside of his storm shield, so I guess that's... I could have probably just left it red, but this other guy, I've painted the underside white. I'm probably just going to paint the undersides of the storm shield silver, honestly. Just be lazy. You don't really see them. And I've washed all the gold. I think I've washed all the silver now. I've obviously done quite a bit of work on the bases too with the dry brushing. I've dry brushed all these wings reasonably well. I mean, it could be better, but I think it looks decent. There's the odd thing here, like, look, I could do silver around this could do silver around this blood drop, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll do that. The Terminators look great, says Nate. Thank you so much, Nate. I'm trying. I'm trying to make them look good. These Terminators have been MVP for me in like so many battles of late. Felix, that's probably one of the reasons why I read people's comments wrong, Felix, because I glance at the comments quickly and then try and paint. I like hanging out with you guys. I enjoy painting on stream. Maybe if I was like a professional painter and I was going for like Golden Demon, I wouldn't enjoy it on the stream, but because I'm just going battle ready, I kind of find it quite fun. I'm excited for the release of 30k 2.0, says Dino Shepherd, and GW to abandon it for the next 2 years so the community can fix it. I mean, I'm excited to see more of the Horus Heresy kits in plastic, because typically, whenever you do those Horus Heresy kits, I don't want to say they're a nightmare, but they kind of are. You know, like, if you need to get out your, like, literal, like, saw that you would use for DIY around the house, I feel like it's a step too far, but, like, some of the gates and stuff on some of those Horus Heresy kits are horrible. The instructions could be horrible. I mean, I've seen people with like bits glued on backwards and stuff on those Horus Heresy kits, and those are expensive kits. I think it was Andrew that had like glued on some like Necron legs were on backwards or something, and he like sent a photo in the group chat, and he was like, you know, I spent the whole evening doing these legs, and I've like, you know, they wouldn't stick, and I had to use tons of glue, and I had to do all this. And then, like, you guys know Kev as well from the live stream. Kev just pops into the chat and is like, Andrew, you've glued the legs on backwards. And it's like, you know, it's fair enough, because those Horus Heresy instructions sometimes, or the Forge World instructions, can be really poor. It was just so funny that, like, he'd spent his whole night doing this, and now the legs are on backwards. Terminators are finished, says Lorenzo. The channel is dead now. The channel will never die. There's plenty more things to go on next. I'm actually wondering, I've been speaking about it for a while, I'm actually considering dropping my Dreadnoughts. And if I am dropping my Dreadnoughts, then am I going to run Eradicators next? If so, I have 6 Eradicators that are half painted, so I would probably be going on to like a batch paint of Eradicators. And I mean, some ways Eradicators are kind of the same as Terminators, right? They're big chunky models. They don't have as many details as the Terminators, sure, but I mean, I'll be painting them for like 2 months, no doubt. So the channel may change into, we may go from a Terminator painting channel into a batch painting of Eradicators channel. Do you know when Dark Imperium came out, I painted like a boatload of Hellblasters, but like, I just don't rate Hellblasters. I think it's just the plasmas killing your own models. I just can't get over it. I just think it's such a problem for the plasma models. Right, I'm struggling to see that a little bit, which means my eyes are getting tired. It's 10 to midnight, so if there's any more questions, Blood Angel specific, or any just random questions, it doesn't have to be Blood Angel specific, you can ask. And yeah, I'll be off in I'll be wrapping up in about 10 minutes time. I have a new video coming out tomorrow, which will be out about lunchtime UK time, so morning in America. And then, I mean, we'll be back on Saturday night for painting. We'll be back on Sunday night to look at army lists. And on Monday night, we're playing against the battlesuit spam of Tau. And I think I can... I mean, we beat Tau 2 weeks ago. We beat Death Guard this week. I think I can beat Tau. I think the changes to Tau are actually... I think there was a significant nerf. I'm not feeling very scared of Tau now, even if they go like all battle suits and even if they go all like plasma rifles and stuff. I think Tau are totally beatable now. I think the Mont Ka and the indirect fire hurt them so much. What's the most minis you've painted? What, in a single batch paint, Neon, or we're almost at 10,000 subscribers now, which is awesome, says Oscar. Yeah, I would imagine maybe like 2 weeks. Maybe not 2 weeks. Let's say 3 weeks from 10,000 subscribers over on YouTube, because I'm making about 10 subscribers a day, and I think I just passed like 9,800. So yeah, about 20 days probably for 10,000 subscribers. So that'll be very cool. 6 Eradicators could be nice in the list. The only thing I'm not totally convinced is the 1 shot per model. I mean, it's 2 shots per model if you totally obliterate, though, right? And I think the strength of the Eradicators is the total obliteration. So it's you have to be smart with your movement. You have to get them in positions that give them those total obliterations. If you're not totally obliterating, then I guess they're not that strong, I think. Nate says, it might have already been discussed about Marines now can take Knights. What do you think? You know what, so many people have asked about the Knights thing tonight. I think it's great. I don't actually own any Knights, but I think I will get one now. I think the Codex is coming out for pre-order either this weekend or next weekend. Probably next weekend, because I haven't heard anything about it. So I'll probably order the Codex and then I'll figure out what Knight I think is best to join Blood Angels. And maybe I'll make a video on that as well, because if I'm figuring out and doing the research, then I can probably make a video and share it. Yeah. Kudos asks how the kiddo is doing. He's doing very well, thank you. We think he's pretty much recovered from all the surgeries. And we're seeing the surgeon that did all the... We're seeing the surgeon that did all, like, it did his operation and did all the, like, whatever, I don't know what you call it, like, intensive, because he was in intensive care for 17 days. So we're seeing that surgeon next Friday. So I'm really hoping that she's pleased with his progress. But yeah, I think things seem to be well on track from where we were, like, when he was born to where we are now. It's like a world of difference. But thanks for asking, I appreciate it. My question is, will the Astraeus meta or Thunderhawk meta become the de facto way to play? I mean, it's more likely to be the Astraeus meta. I actually think an Astraeus could be pretty competitive for Blood Angels. I think the biggest batch job paint I ever did was when I got back into the hobby, and I had left the hobby at some point during like 5th edition, and I came back at the beginning of 8th. And when I came back at the beginning of 8th, I just bought the, whatever do you call it, the Dark Imperium set. And I pretty much batch painted the entire Primaris that was in there. So that would have been like, well, it was the entire Primaris plus some more. So it was probably like 20-25 intercessors, the bolter inceptors, there was other things in that box as well. The Gravis captain, the 2 Primaris lieutenants, I just had like you know those trays that you get at tournaments. I just one of those massive trays, almost like a dinner tray, and just had like the entire Blood Angels or the entire Space Marine part of that box set, and just tried to paint the whole thing. I mean, it probably took me like 2 or 3 months, maybe even longer. But yeah, I mean, it was just I pretty much painted them all in my sort of style of just red, similar to what I'm doing. Oh, for fuck's sake, John, stop dropping the models. There's always a moment of horror when you drop them, like, have I chipped the paint? Probably. Alright, good night, DTM, thanks for hanging out. I must say I find it interesting how you paint with such a bright, clean style. I prefer more of a gritty, battle-worn style. Yeah, I mean, I started in 2nd edition, right? And in 2nd edition, everything was very bright. I mean, I'm not as bright as some of the stuff you see from that time period, but I guess my stuff is quite vibrant. But yeah, from that time period, you could easily push these another 15-20% brighter, I would guess. You painted 38 models in 2 days. Well, yeah, you smashed what I can do. Looking forward to the night video, Nate. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to actually fielding a night. I've never ever run one. I actually only played I played my first non-Blood Angels game in like 20 years, like a month ago now, right? Because way back when I traded all my Blood Angels, or I traded, because I originally had 4 armies, and I traded them all away to get more Space Marine stuff. Because I was like, I can't keep up with 4 armies. You guys have seen how slow I paint. So I was like, right, I'm just going to concentrate on one, and that's going to be Blood Angels. And I did that like 20 years ago. So for the last 20 years, I've only ever played Blood Angels, bar one game. I played one game as Black Templars and lost, and then I came right back to Blood Angels and started winning again. Alright, it's right on midnight, guys. I'm going to be wrapping up in just a sec. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I really do hope you enjoyed the stream. And thank you so much for being generous. And a bunch of you guys know who were generous. There's a bunch of you guys did super chats tonight. I really do appreciate it. And I will actually put that money towards an Astreus, because I do want one. I want a knight too, but I think I can probably do the Astreus first. Maybe that will be my goal for next month. If you are tuning in for the first time, remember you can actually find all my content over on YouTube. And I do multiple videos every week for YouTube, including battle reports, including tactics videos, and obviously painting streams over here and on Twitch. Yeah, I mean, I don't really typically paint battle damage, Felix, but I mean, some people definitely do a good job of battle damage. It's a skill that I guess I've not really learned. I'm just going to paint around this last blood drop for the night, and then that's me done. Didn't quite manage to finish these Terminators tonight, but it got really close. Okay. Good night, Lorenzo. Thanks for hanging out. John, you can achieve the same red with contrast paint. The colors mix really well. You could mix a drop of the yellow contrast with BA red to get your exact shade and might speed things up a bit. I do have the Blood Angels contrast red, but do you know what I typically use it for? Is I typically paint it over gold to give like a If you never tried Blood Angel's contrast paint, paint it over the top of Retributor Gold, and it gives you sort of like this nice reddy gold effect, I guess. And that's what I've used it for, like on Sanguinary Guard axes and stuff like that. Felix coming in with 15 MYRs. I don't know what currency that is, Felix, but thank you so much, and it's for the Astreus. Appreciate that. James Bond 006 has subscribed as well. Thank you, James. Well, maybe that's you, Neon. Alright, guys. I'm going to be back. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. New video coming out around lunchtime UK time. So about 13 hours from now. Thank you again for watching. That is you, Neon. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's Malaysian. Thank you so much, Felix. We got people from every corner of the world in this channel, which is one of the coolest things about this. You know that? It seems like every time we have a stream, there's somebody from a country that... Well, I haven't visited that many countries, but there's always someone from a new country, so I really do appreciate it. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your evening. By the blood are we made strong. Yeah, you preempt me the end. You know my goodbye. Good night, guys. Peace.